Thank you. Yes. Wow. That's awesome. Wow, it's like I paid you. Awesome. That is, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. I just want to get this out of the way right off the top. I was in a senior's residence. I was performing. I know, I'm bragging, and it was an interesting show. The average age, I think, was about 83, and I believe I was doing about as well as they were. And in the front row, I noticed there was this woman in the front row. So I went over and I said, "Are you enjoying the show?" And she smiled and said, "No." And I said, "Really? Nothing?" And she said, "Well, nice shoes." I know a lot of you came from West Island. This is an opportunity for you to check out part of the city maybe you don't normally see. My advice is just go down Saint Laurent. Go down. He knows. Go down Saint Laurent, and you get to St. Catherine, and you'll have a choice. You can go right or left, and everything in your fiber will say go right, but no, go left. And you will see things that a young education cannot provide for you. You can get shish taouk with heroin. If you take a left, just take everything. They have a church right beside a place called Pussy Court. It's amazing. Both wonderful places of worship. So I got this spam mail the other day trying to sell me something that would block other spam mail. This is wrong, isn't it? This is like somebody breaking into your house, sneaking up to you while you're asleep in bed and whispering in your ear, "Would you like me to install an alarm system?" Maybe I could sell you a baseball bat. I learned this recently. The male porpoise, in the heat of mating season, has testicles which occupy 4% of his body mass. 4% in cold water. It's very difficult to maintain testicular mass in cold water. In cold water, I have a vagina. I can tell you how cold the water is just by checking out the old shrivel meter. Look at that, it's an inch colder than it was yesterday. Now you're gonna notice I take my time with my jokes. It's not comedic timing. I don't have many jokes. Sometimes I even recycle. Dolphins. The male dolphin, in the heat of mating season, has testicles which occupy 1% of his body mass. When the porpoises swim by, the dolphins go, "Look at the balls on that guy." Whales. The male whale, in the heat of mating season, has testicles the size of a porpoise. When the whales swim by, the porpoises go, "Look, he's got Lenny." I got my little kitty cat, some kitty litter, and on the bag of the kitty litter, it says eliminates most odors, but what it doesn't say right underneath that is except for cat shit. You see, that's the only odor I care about, because that's what my cat puts in the box. My cat doesn't smoke Cuban cigars. Somebody should talk to the boys in research. Let's focus on the cat shit, boys. My little kitty cat's got 3 legs. Yeah, that's how he feels. And everybody told us your cat will never run again. That's bullshit. 3-legged cats can run. They can't really stop, though. Especially since we waxed the floor. They'll sell you insurance for your cat. They tried to sell us the insurance after we had his leg taken off. I don't think we need it anymore. I'm pretty sure if he loses another leg, that's it. Have you ever seen a 2-legged cat hopping around? Even the 3-legged cats are going, "What the fuck is that?" I think there's a fine line between funny and sad. I'll give you an example. I'm at a funeral with my father. It's my father's job to take the ashes of the deceased and put them in the ground. That moment, right there, sad, right? But then he falls into the hole. Funny. And he gets stuck in the hole, which is sad, but his legs are kicking, which is funny. And we can hear his muffled screams, which is sad, but he's screaming. That's not funny. Which I think is hysterical. I like sarcasm in comedy. I just don't think sarcasm went very well for the very first man in history who ever used sarcasm, because I don't think people would have really understood what he was truly trying to say. It would have been like, yeah, right. I stole all the chickens. Why doesn't the whole village just string me up and set me on fire? See, I don't think that went very well. I think it would have been a few weeks before everybody got it. The whole village is gathered around a fire. All of a sudden, one guy pops up. Hey, wait a minute. Remember Larry? How when we lit him up, how surprised he looked? Now that guy was funny. I think my most favorite superhero when I was growing up was Spider-Man. Spider-Man was my favorite superhero, but I grew up in the suburbs, and I quickly realized that Spider-Man would be really useless in the suburbs. Because there are no tall buildings. He'd just be spinning a web onto a lamppost and then running from lamppost to lamppost. Curb! Even the song would have been screwed up. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, spins a web, takes the bus. That's right, he's like the rest of us. Hey there! I think IKEA is proof that humanity is stupid. Because they are a successful business, and this is their business model. You buy it, you build it. And we do. We're like, where do we go? Where do we get it? Where do we find it? Is it conveniently located? No. There's one every 150 kilometers. But that doesn't stop us. We pile the kids in the car, we drive out to the IKEA, we get out of the parking lot, walk another mile to the store. Come on, Jimmy, you can make it. And you know they're smarter than you when you get in the store, because the first thing you do is you give them your children. At the IKEA daycare. You know the entire store is designed to test your intelligence. That's why it's built like a giant rat maze. And we just run through looking for all the cheese we can buy. Never has cheap shit had such sexy names. Would you like the whole Viking? It comes with the Helgestufe. They sound like something that you should rub all over yourself. But it's a lamp. You spend so much time in the store, you get hungry halfway through. So they built a cafeteria in the middle with meatballs that last longer than the furniture. You spend hours in the store. I've seen grown men break down and cry. I saw a grown man in accessories crying because he lost his wife in the living room section. And finally you get through the store, you get all the way to the end, and they have a customer service representative. And how do they give you service? By telling you where you can go get it off the shelf. Because you buy it, you go get it. And then if you're like me, you pay for your stuff. You go out to the car, you go home, you come back, you pick up the kids. And then you get to build your furniture. You get to build it with things you've never seen before. Ninja stars and Scrabble pegs. Because that's how the Vikings did it. And you know they're calling you stupid Because the directions have no words. Because they don't think you can read. Spend hours trying to build the furniture, begging God for a hammer and a nail. There's a picture of two people building the furniture in the directions. That's their way of telling you that it takes two people to build the furniture. So it will not only be a test of your intelligence, it will be a test of your marriage. And you will say things to each other that no marriage can endure. No, you just hold it while hold it straight while I turn, go to your mother's. There's a 1-800 number if you want to save your marriage. But nobody wants to call it because nobody wants to call up and go, I don't understand the pictures. And my wife left me. I can't get service anywhere I go. I went to a fish store to get 8 ounces of shrimp because that's what the recipe called for, was 8 ounces. I go in the store and everything is in grams. I don't know the conversion, so I go up to the fish guy and I say, how many ounces are in a gram? He looks at me like I'm a drug dealer. Like he's never heard this question before. It's so difficult. He has to go back and talk to his boss because apparently it's a two-man problem. He comes back and this is the answer I get. This is what I have to work with. Not a lot. The places I hate the most are the giant hardware stores, the Ronas, the Home Depots. I hate these places. If you work at one of these places, just so you know, when we're walking down the giant aisle and we see you and we look at you and then you look at us and turn around and run away. Just so you know, we can still see you. You haven't disappeared magically from our field of vision. These places are so big, you have to ask for directions. Again, if we ask you for directions, we're asking you if you know where something is. We're not asking you if you don't know where it is, could you take a guess? Have you met these people? Excuse me, do you know where the light bulbs are? Light bulbs. Light bulbs, light bulbs, light bulbs. They don't know, so they start to offer substitutes. Have you tried candles? No, I'm looking for the light bulbs. There's always that one guy who will help you out, but he's no help whatsoever. Me, I don't know. I'm new to this section. There's one guy he know. You come back next Thursday. That's the day he work. Me, I just play hide and seek. 1, 2, 3, I see you. I went to Home Depot to get a shed kit. A kit for a shed, because that's what they said. Come down to Home Depot, because we have kits for a shed. Now, I don't know what you think a kit is, but for me, a kit means everything is in the kit. That's why it's a kit. If it doesn't have everything in the kit, it's not a kit, it's a scavenger hunt. And I go to Home Depot, and they hand me a list of items. It's just a list. I said, what is this? He said, that's the kit. I said, it's not a kit, it's a list. He said, no, that's the kit. Okay, fine. It's the first item. Where do I get it? Oh, we don't carry that. I had to go to Rona to get my Home Depot kit. The thing I hate the most is the commercials for Home Depot. Because everyone is smiling in the commercials. Nobody is smiling when they go to Home Depot. Because if you're at Home Depot, it's because your home is broken. And you can't afford to hire somebody professional to fix it. So you have to go to a giant warehouse where no one will talk to you. and play hide and seek with complete strangers. You know who should go to Home Depot? Are people that are being chased by the cops. Because the cops would follow them in there and then no one would answer their questions. Except maybe that one guy. Me, I don't know. You can't get the service anywhere you go. I went to Canadian Tire. And by the way, I think all these stores, all these large stores, I think they're built in case there's an Armageddon one day. And the place I recommend in case of Armageddon is Canadian Tire. Because not only do they have everything, but they have their own currency and we can rebuild society. It's true. They're so proud of their own currency, sometimes they don't trust the real currency. I went to pay for something at Canadian Tire. I handed a $20 bill. This is recognized as currency around the world. You go anywhere in the world with a Canadian 20. If you go to the right place, you can probably get some sort of exchange rate. I go into Canadian Tire and she looks at it. Just a sec. This is the test she does. Because that's how you check for currency. That's how she checks. She checks it out and then she goes, good enough. Really? That's the standard you're using? I mean, if you're going to check currency, I don't know. I think you want a better standard than good enough. Right? I think that's the standard used by the guy in the basement with the printing press and the dryer going, yeah, good enough. So she takes the 20. And she lets me buy, and then she gives me back a 10-cent bill. Now I'm pissed. So I take it and I do this. Good enough. I have a beautiful 6-year-old boy at home. He's full of life, full of energy. I say that because he's for sale. If you act now, I'll throw in the grandparents. I'm serious, I hate those people. Everybody thinks that Nana's cute when Nana gives the 6-year-old chocolate. That does not make Nana cute. That makes Nana a dealer. She gave the 6-year-old chocolate a half hour before bedtime. He was telling knock-knock jokes till midnight. He only knows one knock-knock joke. For 3 hours. Let's give it a go, shall we? Knock-knock. 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 Yeah, how do you like Nana now? I don't like Nana's and I don't like the Swiss, because they make the chocolate. I suppose the whole thing is my fault because I bought a house behind my parents. Because I'm an idiot. Neighbors I've known for 30 years walk by. You're a fucking idiot. I thought the house would be all right because there's a fence in between the two houses, and I thought the fence would act as some sort of, fence. But they outsmarted me. They put in a gate. And the gate makes a fence completely useless. There's a steady stream of chocolate coming across the fence. Chocolate and the occasional frozen lasagna. Because that's how old people apologize for too much chocolate. They make lasagna and freeze it for future generations. There's always a story that comes with the lasagna. I just took a little cheese, a little pasta, a little meat sauce, a little meat. They put it in the oven, 375 for 3 hours. They take it out, come over your place, come inside, put in your freezer, keep it in your freezer. 60, 70, 80, you get hungry, take it out, put in the microwave, close the door, or when you're not, it tastes like shit. I don't know why she's Italian in that joke. If you don't know what it's like, I got up with my son at one point at 6:45. 6:45, he said he wants to watch Lunar Gym. And I tell him that Lunar Gym will be on in 15 minutes, which, as you all know, is not right now. And for the next 12 minutes, they're screaming and yelling and head spinning. And at 3 minutes to, I tell him that Lunar Gym will be on in 3 minutes, which I thought would be an improvement, because 3 is less than 15, but he can't count, so it doesn't make a difference. There's more screaming and yelling, and then I hear laughter coming from upstairs. And I run upstairs, and I tell my wife, this isn't funny. She says, you're right, it's not funny. She says, what's funny is that Lunar Gym is on at 7:30. I don't like the stories you're supposed to read your kids. I don't think they have good morals. I'm reading my son Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You know the story. The three bears go out for a walk. Goldilocks breaks in. Fucks with their shit. Already, this isn't good. And falls asleep in one of the beds, wakes up, sees the three bears standing above her, jumps up and runs out the window. And this is the last line, the moral of the story. And she never ate porridge again. Is that really the lesson to be learned when breaking into somebody's house? Stay away from healthy food cereal. The three little pigs. First pig builds his house out of straw. Second pig builds his house out of wood. Wolf comes along, blows their houses down. They run to the brother of the third pig who's built his house out of brick. They're saved by their brother, teaching children everywhere. If you have a family member that works hard, just mooch. The ugly duckling doesn't even know that he's a swan. That's how stupid he is. Thinks he's an ugly duck. Then one day wakes up, finds out he's a beautiful swan, teaching ugly children everywhere. You're not ugly, you're a different species. The Little Mermaid, about a little mermaid who transforms her mermaid fins into 2 human legs for the love of a prince, encouraging little girls for the love of a man to get reconstructive surgery. Pinocchio, teaching little boys, if you lie, it will grow. These are not good stories for children, and they learn so quickly. My son, at the age of 3, had learned how to use the fact that I'm a stand-up comedian against me. I get up one morning and I find a giant turd underneath the television. So I go to him, I say, did you do caca underneath the TV? Because that's what we call it, TV. And he looks at me, he smiles, this evil little grin, and he says, it was just a joke. He's an evil bastard. They think of things so simple that they're brilliant. You wish you thought of them. My wife caught him playing with himself in public. She said, don't play with yourself in public. He said something so simple. It was ingenious. I wish I thought of it. He said, why not? It's mine. Beautiful. It's yours, sir. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Enjoy yourself. I don't think parenting is for everyone. For example, I don't recommend it if you don't have kids. Before we had children, I did not believe in spanking. That's crazy. Then we had one, and I started to change. I started to go, well, we shouldn't do it, but I could see why other people do. Then we had 2. Fuck, I'm spanking. The only reason I didn't before was because I had too much time to think about it. But you don't have time to think about it when you have 2. All you do is you have time to react. That's it. And I believe in fighting terror with terror. We have two now, two children. We haven't had a chance to celebrate. We're going to celebrate next week with a vasectomy. It's my wife's idea. This is her sales pitch to get me to have the vasectomy. You can bring a friend. Yeah, you know, as enticing as that is, it's not exactly a phone call I really want to make. Yeah, Steve, what are you doing Tuesday? I'm getting my nuts snipped. Want to tag along? No, she says, you get it done together. Oh, that's an even better phone call, isn't it? Yeah, Steve, what are you doing with your nuts on Tuesday? You see, this is my problem. This is my problem as a parent, is I tend to treat my son like the little brother I never had. And that's not good parenting, right? Because there are times you're just supposed to say no. But I don't want to say no. I want to watch him and see what happens. And that's not good when the car is moving. He came home with a French assignment, and we were supposed to help him with words in French that ended in O-N. And I suppose they were expecting words like maison or crayon, but I don't think they were expecting us to send him back with ho ho ho. So that's probably not good parenting. I probably need to improve. I always try to improve my French. This is my problem, is I learned how to speak French in the classroom. And that is not the French that's spoken on the streets of Quebec. You spend hours in the classroom going, oui, 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 oui. Get out on the street, wank. Completely different French, but I'm determined to try. I'll go into a store and I'll try, and it's hard because people will often switch over. They're so polite, they want to help you out, which is nice. They hear your English accent, and they don't want to bother with your shitty English accent. So they switch over, and now you have to listen to their shitty French accent. I go in, I'm determined to get something in French. I go into a hardware store. I'm trying to get some sandbox sand for my kids. I start off perfect, 100%. Est-ce que tu as du sable pour enterrer une boîte des enfants? Now, for those of you that don't know, what I just did was I just asked for some sandbox sand to help bury a box of children. This is not good in any language. It doesn't matter where you go in the world. If you ask for sand to help bury children, you get a certain look. And I know I've done something wrong because I'm getting the look. I know it's bad because there's someone behind her dialing 911. So I decide I'm going to fix it with more bad French. No, c'est beau, c'est mes enfants. Yeah. C'est mes enfants dans la boîte. White. Turns out the proper translation is sable de jeu. At least that's what the police told me. They were very helpful. They not only gave me the entire translation, but they helped turn my entire backyard into a sandbox. By the way, that's a very sick joke. But you laughed. So now we can keep going. For us, it started off with the pregnancy test. We took it twice. The first time it came out negative. My wife said, "You idiot, I'm supposed to pee on the stick." Pregnancy test came with a diagram. It was a diagram of somebody peeing on a stick. If you need a diagram to help you pee on a stick, you should not be having children. At 11 weeks, we get the ultrasound. It's a picture of a head on a tail. It looked like a seahorse. That's not the sad part. The sad part is my sister sees the picture. She says, "It looks just like you." I don't think the obstetrician shared my sense of humor because we walk in there and she says, "Do you have any questions about the baby?" I said, "Yes. When can it work?" Nothing. They tell you that you're going to be the coach, that you're going to be the labor coach. You're not going to be the coach. They're just telling you that to get you in the room so that you can see what you did. There is no way anybody would speak to a coach the way I was spoken to. In that room, case in point, you have the epidural. You have choices. You can get the epidural early, in which case less pain but prolonged labor. You can get the epidural later, in which case you have a lot more pain but quicker labor. We decided we were going to go for the epidural when my wife was 5 centimeters dilated. My job as coach was to get her to 5 centimeters. At 3 centimeters, the doctor says, "Would you like the epidural?" My wife says, "Yes." I said, "But honey," she said, "you go fuck yourself." Now I ask you, is that any way to talk to the coach? I was on a lot of high school teams. I don't remember talking to the coach that way. Falconbridge, you go in for Henderson. Fuck you, coach. I used to wonder why people would take their screaming 2, 3-month-old babies out in public. Why are they taking their screaming babies out in public? Now I understand. They're trying to warn the others. Because you don't sleep. You never sleep. I never thought I'd be jealous of the homeless. Just walking by an alley, look at that fucker sleep. He's got his own box. I wish I had a box. The worst is the first night. You're up at 1, you're up at 3, you're up at 5. At 7 a.m., my wife caught me trying to sell the baby on eBay. And everybody has advice for you when you have a baby. The people that have the most advice are the people that have no babies. But they always have some crazy justification as to why they know so much about having a baby. Oh, my sister had a baby. My cousin had a baby. I saw one on Oprah. The worst is the breastfeeding. If you don't breastfeed today, you're considered a bad parent. My wife tried to breastfeed. She tried. It didn't work out. And they sent a breastfeeding Nazi nurse to our front door. "Why aren't you breastfeeding the baby? Don't you want a superior baby?" Other parents treat you like there's something wrong with you when they find out that you're not breastfeeding. "Aren't you breastfeeding?" No, it didn't work out for us. Oh. I'm sorry. Look, I didn't say that we weren't feeding the baby. That would be bad. Yeah, we've decided to stop feeding the baby. Look, he's not crying anymore. The thing you got to get down is the diaper change. My advice, move from the first to second diaper really quickly. Otherwise, you get pee in the eye. And you got to practice like a gunslinger. But every once in a while you get cocky, decide you're not going to change the baby on the changing table where you should. You're going to change the baby on the new sofa. Yeah, if you get a new sofa just before you have a baby, make sure it's yellow. And you realize it's time, so you go to work, and suddenly you remember that you forgot to prepare that second diaper. And that extra split second of time, all of a sudden you hear, That's the 2-second warning. That's all the time you have to decide how much you love your sofa. And you have a choice. Forget the sofa or go in with your hand. Now here's the thing. When your son is pooing on your hand, you're not allowed to show disapproval because that could mess up the baby. So you have to do something like this. Who's pooing in Daddy's hand? Yes, you are. Where's your mother? Oh, good, there's more. Must warn the others. I like to go outside to warn the others. Bathrobe open, spittle on the shirt, pushing the stroller. Run! This could be you! I see a young couple in love ahead right for them. Wear a condom! That's my message, sir. Wear a condom. Do you have a condom on you, sir? I'm just saying. I've been married for about 8 years. When you're single, you can have any fantasy that you want to. It doesn't really matter because you're single. But when you get married, you still have fantasies about other women, but you feel guilty for having the fantasy. So what I started to do to compensate for the guilt is every time I had a fantasy about another woman, I put my wife in the fantasy with the other woman. And for a while it worked. But then they started talking. And they decided they didn't really need me. So now in the fantasy, I'm working the camera. The day of the wedding, as it turns out, has nothing to do with the groom. It has everything to do with the bride. If you're the groom on your wedding day, basically you're a prop for the bride. Case in point, the bride arrives. Everybody goes, "Oh, you look beautiful. You look so beautiful. It's your day. It's your day." I showed up. People went, "Scott, you made it. Now stand over there." And you stand over there. No music, no fanfare, nothing. Bride arrives, takes one step in the building. Music. Her own song. Here comes the bride. Nobody had a song. There stands the groom. And everybody turns their back on the groom. Fuck him. Here comes the bride. The bride walks in slow motion because she's milking it. Can you imagine if the groom arrived and started walking in slow motion? People would be going, "Pick it up, buddy. The bride is coming." Finally, the bride makes it beside the groom. Now it's okay to look at him because he's with her. But the rest of the ceremony is designed to remind you as a groom that you're replaceable. Who are you standing beside? The best man. It's your wedding day. You're not even the best man. They brought in a ringer in case you mess it up. I didn't want to take any chances and get compared to my best man, so for my best man, I got me a lesbian. The one from the video. I think I like this section best. My son is playing soccer, but he's not playing real soccer. He's playing 5-year-old soccer. It's a completely different type of soccer. In real soccer, you have scoring and goals. In 5-year-old soccer, there's hugging and the eating of grass. And if you're not accustomed to the sport, it takes a while to get used to. I spent most of the summer just waiting for my son to touch the ball. And then finally, late August, he's standing in front of the net, alone. I don't know how it happened. He's standing, all he has to do is kick, and it goes in. Now, I am not a pushy parent, but I have sat through 30 games. I have bought 6,000 popsicles. And all I've seen him do is eat grass. So I stand up, right up, and I scream, "Kick it! Kick the ball!" And you're not supposed to yell at the children. And there was a South American father who was there. His son scores 8 goals a game. Every game, it's the same thing. "Come on, Antonio. Come on, Antonio. Kick it. Come on, Antonio. Goal. Good goal. Good goal. Good goal. Come on, Antonio. Come on, Antonio. Come on. Good goal. Good goal. Good goal. Come on, Antonio." Every game. He looks at me. "We should not do this. It's not the right." "Fuck you, Pele." I want my son to score a goal. And I know my son can tell that I want this because he turns around, he looks at me, and he smiles, this evil little grin. And then instead of kicking the ball, he turns around and hugs the ref. And his whole team runs up. In real soccer, they'd be mad, but no, they all hug each other. Good job, buddy, good job. And then a squirrel runs by, and they give chase. So I was doing a gig in, I believe it was Kelowna, and it was a bar, not unlike this one right now. And before I go out, there's a cappuccino machine behind the bar. And the bartender was using the cappuccino machine. And it was making this very loud sound. So I go to the bartender and I said, listen, while I'm on stage, if you could not use the cappuccino machine, it's loud, it will disturb the show. He said, no problem. So I get on stage, about 5 minutes into my set, all of a sudden I hear, so naturally, I'm thinking cappuccino machine. So I just look in the general direction that it's coming from. I can't really see. There's lights in my eyes. There's 200 people in the room. I just sort of blurt out and try to say the first thing that comes to my mind. I say, I don't know who you are back there, but take your forklift and go home. And I was expecting to get a laugh, but it was deadly silent, much like right now. And then, from the back of the room, I heard this tiny little voice. It's the hydraulic system to my wheelchair. I was just trying to adjust myself so I could laugh easier. I don't trust anything with the word safety in it. It has the word safety. It isn't safe. Safety pins. Safety pins are safe when they're closed. When they're open, that's a pointy pin. I was doing a play one time, a Shakespeare play. They put safety pins in the fly of my costume. And halfway through the scene, the safety pin became a pointy pin. And it lodged itself in the closest part of me that it could find. Now, my next line was supposed to be, God forgive us all. But what I said was, there's a pin in my cock. Stop the play, there's a pin in my cock. Prithee, nurse, there be a prick in mine prick. And 2 pricks and 1 coxcomb do make for a sorry coxcomb indeed. Out, damn pin of safety. To pee or not to pee? Alas, poor foreskin, I knew him well. I think there are a lot of people today that are sexually repressed, but I think some people are so sexually liberated that they've become sexually repressed. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I take this acting class called the Meisner class. In the class, you sit about 5 feet away from another actor. You just look at them and you're supposed to say the first thing that pops in your head. No matter what it is, you're just supposed to say it out loud. And they, in turn, are supposed to say the first thing they think of back at you. And the idea is that you're supposed to go back and forth. And it's supposed to be organic and in the moment and good for your acting. And in the class, there are a lot of 18, 19, 20-year-old young women. And they're very sexually liberated, which is awesome. But I don't know if you've seen what young people are wearing today, but underwear. No longer under. It kind of comes out, and there's a line here, and a line here, so it forms like an arrow. Pointing down to where the hoo-ha is. And the pants are sealed with a vacuum, so you know exactly where the hoo-ha is. And there used to be cloth right here in shirts. But they're saving money, they don't need it. They have perfect hips, so it's hourglass, hourglass. Line, line, hoo-ha. And the shirts are brilliant. The shirts are designed by hydraulic engineers. Everything pushes together. It will greet you from any direction. It's perfect cleavage. And it just so perfectly, it's pi r squared. There used to be something in a shirt called a neckline. Fuck that shit. The shirt begins with the nipple line. And then, hi, how are you? Hourglass, line, hoo-ha. And you're sitting in the class, and this is what you're sitting across from. And you're supposed to say the first thing that pops in your head. And if you don't tell the truth, they yell at you. Now, I don't know how you were raised, but I was raised repressed. I was taught to keep the little man down, so I'm struggling with this truth exercise. And after 3 or 4 minutes, this is the best I could do. Nice shoes. And they yelled at me because she wasn't wearing any. And they made me do it again, so after like 4 minutes, suddenly I just felt this urge. I'll be honest, it started right here. It just came up, I want to fuck you. And the acting instructor went, well, that was good. And the 20-year-old went, oh, pervert. Which I didn't think was fair. I mean, if you came into class wearing a cardboard box, and I said I wanted to fuck you through a box, okay, I'm a pervert. Because I want to fuck you through a box. But you didn't come in wearing a box. You came in showing off a box. Fair is fair. Like if I came into class with my pants only this high, so you could see the curvature of the cock and the cock ball shadow. And I put in a hydraulic pressure machine pushing the package up so you could see the moose knuckle. And I shaved myself so there were lines pointing down. And then I took Christmas lights and I put them all around. Well, if you said cock, I'd say well done. You did okay with that. Good for you. I didn't think some of you were going to make it. Show became more interesting, didn't it? Okay. So, I was walking along recently, and as I'm walking along, it starts to rain on my head. And I didn't have my rain jacket on me at the time, so I just took my shirt and pulled it over my head. About 10 feet ahead of me was this woman. She turns around, and this is what she sees. She screams and runs. I see her scream and run. I figure, shit, someone must be coming. So I start to run after her. And I passed her too. Hurry up, lady, he's coming. She screams and runs the other way. I figure, good idea, let's split up. And I know he must be following me because everywhere I go, people scream and run. He must be close behind because when I bang on the bus, they won't let me in. Finally, the cops arrive. Officer, there's a freak on the loose. They were so concerned, they handcuffed me to the car. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Don't get up, sir. Thank you.